All right, there we go. We figured it out.
Yeah.
Jack Snyder, the reigning champion of the golf outing, also, by the way. I meant to tell you that before we hit the record button.
Should have brought my golden football.
You're gonna maybe contend for another one. What do you remember what your guys' score was?
I can't remember.
It
I can't
was
remember.
I remember it being impressive. You've done it 2 years, right?
I think three. I think
I,
I think 3 years, but that first victory.
First victory. All right. Well, that I might have to make it mandatory that if you own a golden football, for any future people who do this with me, you're going to be required to bring the golden football. Actually, Alex, one of our board members, I do know his first golden football, he won the first one and his dog ate it. So hopefully you still have it around.
Oh, it's on the desk.
It's I think last year was the first year we went with the golden football, and it went over like hotcakes. That will officially be the trophy again. So maybe you can go back to back. But without any further wasted time, I wanted to introduce you. I love that you were willing to come on board. Love that you decided to be the sponsor for our huddle, which happens to be tonight. I don't know when people will watch this, but when you and I had talked about True Capital and what you do, I think the biggest thing that stuck out to me was I had no clue your world even existed. So I'm going to have you tell us a little about that. But first, tell me just about you and your family. How did you even show up to a PGG event? I think it was Vince, right?
Yeah.
Tell us how you got on our radar.
Yeah, so I'll give you a quick backstory. I grew up in Scarborough, Maine. I received a golf scholarship to the University of Toledo. The only reason I stopped playing football and played golf is because I broke my foot the summer going into freshman year of high school. And my dad took me golfing, and I'd been playing hockey since a young age. And like the first time I ever played golf, I could drive the ball 300 yards and straight. So it made the game very easy. And I ended up taking golf pretty seriously, and it landed me in Toledo, Ohio. I have two little boys, Liam and Owen, 7 and soon to be 10, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I've coached my kids in numerous teams. I mean, I probably coached 30 different youth football teams in my life, and I love coaching sports. I think that sports taught me a lot that really has benefited me in my life and in business. Being able to be on a team and work with other people and listen and take direction and improve and constantly strive to improve and have discipline. I don't hammer discipline into the second graders I coach's heads that much, right? Because they're second graders, but I think it's important as these kids get older and older, that they learn to understand that you have a job. There's 10 guys out there, 7 guys out there, whatever it may be, and you have a job to do, and everyone's job is just as important, whether you're blocking or passing or catching or running. It doesn't matter. So I love sports. Yeah, Vince Urak introduced me or invited me to one of your golf outings, and it seemed like a great group of people. The turnout that you had for the organization that you have, I thought was very impressive. And I'm always looking to get involved with organizations that have multiple purposes, right? Like you guys have the purpose of the networking group, like it makes sense, and then obviously the more important factor is being able to give back to the youth in Northeast Ohio.
Yeah.
It's something that you and I had spoken briefly about, but True Capital claims we pride ourselves in the philanthropic work that we do, and we already have given back to the community in numerous ways. And as a pledge to PGG, any business that I would obtain from the network, like I would definitely give a portion of that back to help boost those scholarships and provide more opportunities for youth. So we are we're well funded startup. We just launched the company in December of this year. In the past 4 years, I've worked for other public insurance adjusting companies.
Yeah.
It's something that I didn't know existed. I ask a lot of people, do you know what a public insurance adjuster does? People are like, yeah. I had a guy, from State Farm come to my house. And it's like, well, that guy works for State Farm. Public insurance adjusters represent the policyholder, right? So
Okay.
we're an advocate for the policyholder. We operate coast to coast as of now. We have claims all throughout Ohio, but all the way up to Maine, down to Florida, over to California. We're a nationwide company, and we have a very large network of different REITs and property management companies, restoration companies that bring us in to help them.
Yeah.
Because anyone that's been through an insurance claim, whether it's an auto claim, which we do not do, or just a burst pipe at their own house, it's a complicated, you know, large financial decision that you're trying to make and navigate. And everyone has these contracts, these insurance policies, and people aren't really sure what they're entitled to do, what they're entitled to recover. And they think that if they live in a 5,000 square foot home and they have a fire, that they got to go stay in a hotel for 2 years, and that's not true, right? You're entitled to like, kind, and quality of where you stay in your temporary housing situation. So we help navigate the process for people. So public insurance adjusters, my little one liner that I use to explain is we're licensed by the state. So we have to pass exams and continuing education. And there's a lot of different parameters and ethical things that we have to maintain.
Yeah.
So we're licensed by the state to ensure that the policyholder is indemnified to the fullest extent of their insurance contract that they have.
And how do you, so when we had talked earlier, I feel like I've been in this world forever, right? Helping people with their finances. And like, even for me, not knowing exactly what you did, almost like kind of humbling. You have a 20-year career and you're like learning something new. Are people repeat clients for you? Like, how does somebody find a True Capital, or give me, insert
Yeah.
competitor A here? Like, how do they even know to find you?
I think nowadays people like if you Google or type into Chat GPT, like, I'm getting underpaid on my insurance claim, or I feel like my insurance claim is unfair, what should I do? It'll be one of the first or second recommendations to you is hire a public adjuster,
Okay.
because
And
we are
then
the
you're trying to
we,
find the right one at that point.
yeah, trying to find the right one at that point can be tricky. Any client that we take on, because it is a large financial decision, they vet us pretty hard, and we have to supply, case studies and referrals to these people, because, the vast majority of the work that we do is large commercial claims and catastrophic loss. Claims in excess of $500,000 is typically what we do. We do smaller claims, and we do residential claims that are a couple $100,000 or $100,000. But if it gets beneath that, we really don't get involved, because every penny really matters more at that point to somebody. And we will give people advice. I get calls all the time for people, and I'll kind of guide them and give them some advice, like, this is what you should do, but this claim is not really one that we would take on right now.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we want to help as many people as we can. And
I
it
can
is,
assure you, I'm calling you if I ever have something just to pick your brain. I know
yeah,
that.
no, and it can be a David versus Goliath fight. It's like, if it's little Billy Hope over there fighting against, a large multi-billion-dollar insurance company,
Yeah,
they have all the resources, and you've never dealt with it before, hopefully, right?
absolutely.
And
That's my point. And that's when we talk, in my world, it's almost like taking someone through probate, right? It very rarely is somebody that going through probate, and they make it confusing, they make it tedious. The whole process is cumbersome, and you're dealing with loss at that point. I mean, it's crazy to me how parallel it kind of is. If you own this giant building, right, you have this big claim up, you're dealing with that type of loss. You're probably still trying to make your business continue to grow, right? You don't want it to be too much of a hiccup. So there was one specific story you told me, like, what's the goal to get, you use the word indemnify, right? Is that what it's called in
indemnify,
your
yeah.
world?
So basically, it's like it never happened, right?
Yeah.
We can't take away the emotional toll it takes on someone, but the number one thing that we save people right off the bat is time.
Yeah.
Basically, when someone goes under contract with us, they're giving us full rights to handle the claim for them, and they don't ever even have to talk to the insurance company again. They may have to take a statement under oath or whatnot, but beyond that, like, we do everything from start to finish.
And let them kind of just go about their day and running
Yeah,
their business then.
yeah.
So give me a reason to use you, right? I already know like the one main story you told me, but the amount that you can get somebody that they're rightfully, they're able to be getting a lot of times whether it be on purpose from an insurance company or just being overlooked. Maybe there's multiple claims. And then this is all born out of like someone not getting enough money back, right? And you're fighting
Right.
for them to get every penny that they can.
Right.
Give me a couple examples of what you've been able to do for people.
Yeah. So I would say, the largest example is we worked with the local municipality, and there was a major hailstorm that came through. And, hailstorms can void warranties on roofs, and they can also, you know, create further problems that you may not find right away, right? Like it may cause damage, and it may lead to, like a metal roof rusting out over time because that paint is actually broken and it's not meant to be broken. But essentially, what we've done in the past is, we've had clients either improper denials, right? Sometimes an insurance claim will be denied, and we investigate it and we present our case to the insurance company on their behalf to try to get that denial reversed and come to an agreement on a scope and the amount of damage. We've taken clients anywhere from our greatest success would be a municipality got offered $33,000 and they ended up settling, well over eight figures. And the reason is the insurance company is only going to adjust the claim that they see and that they want to adjust. We come in and we present the claim that needs to be adjusted on our end, right? It's fair and what's in the best interest of the policyholder, because there's things throughout insurance policies, whether it's commercial or residential policy, that they may not point out to you, they may not explain to you. We worked with a restaurant owner who was offered $400,000 for a fire and ended up getting him over $2 million. And we also were able to. He wanted to keep paying his employees, so we were able to demand a partial payment in that first week. Like, hey, my building is destroyed. I know we're not going to agree on the total value today, but
Yeah.
like, write him a check for $300,000. It's at least, it's at least that much just by coming out here and taking an educated guess on a building that has been destroyed.
Yeah.
And so like there's a lot of different tricks to the trade and a lot of different avenues that we take people down that really just make their lives easier, right? And we instantly save people 100% of their time.
So obviously time's a big part of it. How do they pay you? Like, let's say in that instance where, um, like, is it you wait until this claim gets paid and then you guys
Yeah.
get paid? So sometimes
There's,
you're working for free,
yeah,
essentially.
sometimes we put in hundreds of hours and it amounts to nothing, right? It's our job to review the scope and review the policy and review the damage to ensure that we don't take on a bunch of claims that aren't going to get paid, right?
Yeah.
Or people come to us after they've been offered a settlement and they're like, "This isn't fair. It's not enough." And we may look at it and be like, "You know what? They're in line here, and it's not something that we can really move the needle on for someone."
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's 100% contingency based. Like the better that we do for our client, the better we do for ourselves. And that's what I explain to people. Like, we're in this with you. If
Yeah.
if we don't do a good job and we don't obtain the maximum amount, you're not going to be happy, right? And you're never going to refer me to anybody else, and you're not going to be satisfied. And we don't want to leave anybody unsatisfied at the end of the day, because everyone that we work with will tell you that we made a huge impact. Like
Yeah.
I can give you a list of 10 clients that we've worked with just in the past 3 months here in True Capital Claims, and they would all say hire them, like hands down, because it's a very confusing process, especially in the commercial claims, and residential. I mean, we've done numerous residential claims where people were like, this claim got denied, and we get involved and we bring experts out, right, and engineers and independent building consultants, and we just, like I explained to people, we build the case for this to be a legitimate claim only if it is, right? We don't do
Yeah.
anything that's shady. We don't do anything that's shady. We're not allowed to. We could lose our license. The Department of Insurance is very strict, as they
Yeah.
should be. And so we do everything above board. We just present the best possible case for the policyholder. And, we stick to facts. We don't make promises to people. That we don't say, "I'm going to get you $1 million for this," when that's going to be really, really impossible or difficult at least. We just try to be really honest with people. And it's also not a hard sale. We're not like hard sale people. It's just like, hey, we're here to help. If you feel like this is not fair, if you feel like, you're overwhelmed, you're alone, people feel very alone,
Yeah.
right? And they may sign contracts with different contractors or different companies, and it's like they don't have any control over their funds. We don't we keep everyone is at an arm's length from us except for the policyholder. Like there's restoration contractors we work great with. There's other rebuild contractors that we work great with, but we keep everyone at an arm's length, and we are in charge of getting the maximum amount we can for the policyholder. What they do with those funds, there's obviously rules and regulations in regards to properties that have mortgages on them, because the mortgage holder it's their asset as well.
Yeah.
So mortgage companies love us because they know that their asset's not being devalued after a loss, right? Because if a house needs an extra $100,000 worth of work that's not going to get done, it's bad for the policyholder and the mortgage holder.
Absolutely. More likely, like you're saying like default on their mortgage because the property isn't the value it used to be, or
Yeah, that definitely could happen. It
who do
definitely
you
could happen.
get the bulk of your referrals from then? Someone like commercial mortgages, or where are you getting how's the name getting out there, especially since you've only been around since December?
Yeah, so it's a multiple pronged approach, right? We get reports and we call on people that have suffered losses, right? So whether that's news articles or posts on Twitter, or there's services that tell us like where commercial fires are. Obviously, we have a hail mapping software, so we know where major hailstorms like the one that we were talking about in Illinois. So we will chase, introduce cold introductions to people,
Yeah.
but we also have a large network of property management companies and just a really large professional network of people that know people, right? And all we're looking for is a warm introduction and a conversation with someone to be able to explain what we do, because you've been in business a long time. You had no idea what this was. I've been in business 15 years in the contracting and residential home services field, and I had no idea what a public adjuster was until a friend of mine came to me and said, you should think about doing this. You're good
Yeah.
with people, and the composition of a commercial and residential structure, so what it really takes to put something back together. So that's cold calling and using our network is how we obtain clients. And like I said, it is not a hard sale. We do not say you need to hire us or you're going to get screwed, like, because insurance companies do take care of people sometimes. They do. It's just, if you want to make sure that that contract is maximized to your best interest as the person who's been paying premiums for 30 years,
Yeah.
now is the time to hire a professional who can interpret the policy. And this is what we do every day.
But it's not even, I mean, you don't have to do the hard sell. I'll do it for you at this point. Like, why not? Right? I can't, I'm sitting here in my head trying to play devil's advocate and say, whether, True Capital, someone else, I almost think like you have to use a public adjuster, right? Because now you at least have that peace of mind that you got what you were supposed to
Right.
from an insurance company, right? I
Right.
mean, if it's
I
not
mean,
True Capital, you definitely think it's worth throwing it by somebody to say, yes, you did get treated fairly, you got indemnified, and go about your day.
and that's what I tell people. I'm like, listen, if you don't hire me, you should hire some sort of representation. Like you really should. Like if my mother had a claim up in Maine and I couldn't take it on for whatever reason, I would be like, find a local public adjuster and hire them, because
Yeah.
it's worth it. I can see that it's worth it, and you can be my hard salesman for me. But we work on a contingency, right? So we do charge a fee of the total amount that we recover, or a fee based on the difference between when you bring us into the claim. Because a
Yeah.
lot of people will hire us after they've been given that first offer, right? And they're like, whoa, this is not nearly enough to rebuild what I need to do here. So, our fees are anywhere from 5 to 20%. Typically, the larger the claim, the smaller the fee.
Makes sense.
The earlier we're involved, the lower the fee, right? if you have a $1 million claim and you've already been offered, $700,000, like you're going to be up towards the higher range. But every state does have different laws and regulations about what you can charge and in what circumstances you can charge certain
Yeah.
percentages.
I'm telling you, it's crazy to me. I didn't know the world existed. And the contingent part of it, I keep going back to me, it's a no-brainer, right? It allows you to save time, focus on everything else, and you're technically only getting paid if you bring in what you say you're going to. Is
Right.
there there's one last question for even just my own knowledge. Is what is when is it too late to pull you in? After you like officially accept a claim, or is there some statute
So,
that says,
eh,
hey, I just did this in July. I meet you, you look at it, you're like, dude, you got hosed. You
yeah.
should go back after him. Is there anything like that? When is it too late to find someone like you?
So that's a great question. It does vary state to state, but since our group here is in Ohio, I'll talk about Ohio. So you have typically, unless there's an exclusion in your policy, which is I've never seen one in Ohio, you have 2 years from the date of loss, the date of that event. So the date of that tornado or that hailstorm or that pipe break or
Even if you
that
got paid.
fire. Even if you got paid,
Oh,
you have 2 years to go back and open it up and look at it again.
that's good to know. I had
Yeah.
no idea. All right, now we can spend the next 40 minutes talking about golf. No, there you go. I'm
You want
actually
me to
looking
fix your
forward.
swing?
What's that?
You want me to fix your swing?
Dude, when I talked to you last week, and for anyone watching, I had the ability to go play at Pinehurst, and I am not a good golfer. And whew, let me just say it's either gonna doing one of two things when you go down there. You're going to come home and take lessons and figure it out, or you're gonna give up golf completely. And yeah, thankfully, shout out Walter, my caddy. We had him at number 4 on Wednesday, and then we had him at number 2 on Thursday. And after number 4, he goes, "You want me tomorrow too?" I'm like, please, you're the only one who can deal with, the amount of miles I have to walk on the course. By like the ninth hole on at number 2, which is the mecca down there. He finally told me like 3 things. I'm like, Walter, what the why did you wait 27 holes to tell me these 3 things? Even a little tip like that changed my game. So we'll
Well,
get
hey,
out there.
I want to plug my nonprofit real quick. So
No, I didn't do it.
just because you mentioned caddies, so my father and I started, I think it was 5 years ago now, a program called the Caddy School for Soldiers. So
Okay.
we're always looking for veterans. We typically guys that are down on their luck, right, and really struggling with severe PTSD and whatever other issues they may be struggling with. We are sponsored by the Kohler family out of Wisconsin. So
Okay.
we take vets from the United States and Canada and the UK, and we take them to St. Andrews, Scotland, and we train them for 30 days to become professional caddies. And they don't have to go get a job being a caddy if they don't want to, but we have caddies working at some of the greatest golf courses in the world, and we're able to help a lot of veterans. So I always like to plug that because most people know a vet that may be down on their luck with no sign of somewhere good to go, and it's like, what a better experience from someone to come out of a dark basement in some house and get to walk Pinehurst with Billy Hope and people having the time of their life on a golf trip, and they make good money, right? So
They sure did for me.
yeah.
That's the worse you are, you feel like, dude. It's funny. We chat on the phone before doing this, and this didn't even get brought up. This is
uh,
like a real live reveal for me. That's incredible.
yeah,
For two reasons.
it's
What's
called the
that?
Caddy School for Soldiers.
All right, I'm gonna find the
Yeah.
logo. I'll throw it up there. That's an incredible idea because of I've said forever that vets don't get the type of support that they need to after. And there's so many other ways that, there are organizations out there that do this. I've never heard of something like this. And you're
Yeah.
right. A caddy is, to me, if you can handle carrying the bags, one of the funnest jobs. You're always meeting new people, like-minded people who like golf. This guy, Walter from Pinehurst, he was so fun. And,
And he's
similar
probably
story.
he's happy, man. Like he's out there in the sunshine with making good money with guys that are having fun, right? Like
Absolutely.
it's
That
a
is so cool.
it's a great
I did not
program.
know that you did that. That is incredible.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Back to the philanthropic side of you. Well, Dude, you're a huge addition to the professional gridiron group. We love having you on board. Everyone's going to see this after the huddle, so it won't matter. But I'm looking forward to seeing you tonight at this thing. And then on April 23rd, we'll be at our spring networking event. Anything else that you can think of that we should know about Jack Snyder before I turn this off?
Yeah, no, I would just say, I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I'm a very honest guy. And any help that I could provide any other members of the group, I would love to help. And if there's any specific opportunities, philanthropic opportunities for within youth sports, or other, important missions, golf outings to raise money for people and people in need. I'm here to help, and just reach out to me, and I'm sure we'll circulate my contact information.
Yeah, it'll get out there. We're looking forward to it. Great having you on board. I'm going to pick your brain about when it goes from let's have fun coaching to getting the kids in line. I coached 6-year-olds for basketball. Absolute chaos. Nobody listens. I thought first day we're teaching them a jump stop. No
No way.
chance. No
My
chance.
fourth graders struggle with the jump stop. Okay.
We were lucky if we were dribbling with one hand, dribbling at all, let alone, oh, it was fun though. It was a blast. So, well, thank you for doing this, man. We're great having you on board. Hopefully you come in second behind my team at the outing this year, but we'll talk soon. Whoever has any questions, I imagine I'll throw your email up here, but Jack at True Capital, was that it?
Yeah, Jack at truecapitalclaims.com.
Perfect. All right, man. Well, good to see you. Thanks for doing this, and we'll talk soon.
That sounds great.
All right, later, man.
Later.